I'm hot. Take off my sweatshirt. Rick Levine is having a conference of some sort, or he's a part of something that is taking place in Tulum, Mexico. Mexico. Tulum, Mexico. I was there in 2011. When Anne got married, we went on that cruise, and I flew down to Miami, and then we went on down to Cozumel. See, all these other people had this experience back in high school, because all these people that it was just you, and we didn't have a whole lot of money. And so, but other people, like their family, we love you so much. Here, we're going to pay for you to go down to Mexico and get wasted with your friends. And then think about how many people lost their virginity and stuff like that. Came back to... Anyway, I digress. I got a little carried away there. Anyway, that's where the Cozumel, Tulum is where the Mayan ruins are. So I got to walk around where at one day in history, or hell, maybe it's in the future, Maybe that stuff is from the future. Yeah. All those buildings and stuff. Yeah. Who knows? Hey, Stanley. So, walked around the place where the ancients went, and that was kind of cool. Had a really fun, had the best avocados I ever had, and had a really fun tour guide. I always like when you get a fun, because sometimes you get like the bus driver that just freaking, he's just got his job to do, and he's just going to drive the bus, and But the guy that we had, I think I even have a picture taken with him somewhere, is that because he was real personable, and he gave us a lot of the local history and stuff like that. Or who knows, maybe it's all bullcrap, who knows. It's just a script. Tell him this. Anyway, hi, welcome to my tube. My name's Marge. I'm a Healk empath. I just like having these little talks on the way I feel about things. What is it today? Today's Friday, February 3rd. Tucker is sawing logs over there. He's totally snooze. Oh, here, Artie, you want up there? You want to sit up there, bud? Good boy. Want up here? Go ahead. Good boy if you want to. He's not in the mood. He says, no, I'm not in the mood. I didn't do a talk yesterday. Yesterday was like, it was hard for me. It was kind of a weird thing. I'm going to tell the story, of course. Yeah, hard stuff makes for good stories, I found in life. That's why I got over 2,000 videos now. Sharing my life experience. And just how I witnessed the evolution of the world. Because it's revolving in a very wicked, sinister way. It's just bizarre how it's tripping me out, how it's unfolding. So yesterday, it was relatively early. It was before Mom got up even. And Stanley and I have our morning routines that we do. It's like a morning, and he's all chatty and stuff. Hi, Kev, man. And welcome. And to my tiny tube. And I leaned over. Stanley was like facing away from me, and his tail was down there, and I leaned down, and I was like stroking his tail upward like this, and I bent down, and I did it in such a kind of way that it pulled a muscle in my lower back. Ooh, I was like within 5 minutes I wanted to throw up. Like I don't know what I did. But it activated something. It acted something in my first chakra, right? Because I didn't like it. And what it also did is whatever muscle I pulled in there, it flamed my pelvis. So the damage that was done when I was 10 months old in the baby rape, in my baby rape that happened, and then breaking my coccyx when I was 20. And so all of this, and because it's been real cold, that's, how they say, like, when it rains because your knee hurts kind of thing. Well, it's like, I don't know, if you have a lot of freaking, I don't know why athletes do that crap to themselves. Of course, they're gazillionaires, and all they have to just sit there and, they can just sit there and self-medicate for the rest of their lives. If they live that long, if their numbers aren't up. But it was just all day long, and it hurt. So I laid over there for it was all that I could do to just do my everyday normal routine, get mom, and then take dogs out and stuff like that. And then the interim, I just freaking laid over there and just laid on a heating pad and just was as still as I possibly could. And I woke up this morning. It must have been something in my astrology, because I woke up, I was a little stiff, and then I kind of danced it out, and it wasn't like it was yesterday. And the human body is so fragile, you know it? So let's talk about some of the things that aren't adding up. All the people that have died in the last few years. Why are we in a housing crisis? If there's all these different empty places now, So weird. Things that don't know. When has the government ever said anything true? I posted on Twitter today. I had a sign that I left it at my other place. I didn't bring it with me. I'd just make a new one if it ever the situation arises. But there's a picture of me holding it on the corner in downtown Taos last year on my Twitter, third eye activated. There was a story I posted today because I just can't believe this stuff that I'm seeing. I just can't believe this stuff I'm seeing. So I got to post it so I can come back later and talk about it. I live in New Mexico. I live way up north. Here's a picture of me holding my sign. When has the government ever said anything true? Mostly people ignore you. So here it is. Here I wrote, New Mexico sucks ball sack. It's them, not me. And you spell it B-A-A-L because, they do. So, here's an article that I posted. The Satanic Temple is opening a telehealth abortion clinic in New Mexico, and they are calling in the world's first ever religious abortion clinic. Dude, at this point, religion, you had a good run. You didn't do what you set out to do. You didn't feed the poor. You didn't clothe the poor. You didn't house the poor. You didn't help the poor. But you got a lot of extra branches, didn't you? I called the local pastor today. Now it's Friday. They have office hours, right? Aren't they in the office, right? Like pastors. Like you go to a church, everybody pays for your building. You might as well be there. They pay for their house. They pay for their car. They pay for everything, I'm ordained. How come the world ain't paying for my way, right? Nah, things that don't add up. So I called this morning to talk to the pastor because my landlord is somehow related to him, I guess, and I met him. Because the day before Thanksgiving, he came by looking for my neighbor, who evidently is his nephew, or everybody's related in a Royal Hondo, except for me. And actually we might be, which is another story of and by itself. So he came by looking for him, saying, hey, we're having up at the church, we're having Thanksgiving dinner. which is weird to me because I'm in Mexico. You know, there's Indians. We're just Native Americans all over the place. I'm Native American. I'm surrounded by Native Americans. There are Native Americans everywhere. And you're still going to buy into that white man bullshit. That colonial crap. I'm doing air quotes. I should do the quotes up here. Like, Marge, don't do it. Because I'm just... I'm quoting people that I've heard. Because I don't care, man. I haven't said this a while. Let me make this pronouncement. I do not. The only thing that I align myself with is the fact that my name is Marge and I'm a Heyoka. Aside from that, I don't align myself with any politic, any organization, any religion, anything. I don't make my part. If there's this big group, I'm not going to make my part of it because there's people in it that I ain't like them. I'm not like them. So I'm not going to say I'm a Christian because I'm not like so many of the other Christians. You know, the one that cut you off in the parking lot and freaking, you know, stand in the middle of the freaking grocery store because they're the center of the universe. And, you know, the ones that like back into your car and drive off. And it gets worse, you know. That's why I don't like to say, okay, I'm this, because most of them I'm not like that. Nope. Politics are just reindeer games. None of it's real. It's an extension of Hollywood as far as I'm concerned. It's scripted. If somebody said, okay, this is how it's going to go down, now go make it happen, we are seeing Hollywood shit in DC, and that's not what God intended. Hi, baby girl. What you doing? Here. You want your water? Here. I moved it right here. Come here. Luna. I moved it here. You want thirsty firsties? Pretty? Want thirsty firsties? I moved it there because I'm trying to keep Tucker out of the kitchen because his back end is so loose and he's just, I mean, one slip and he's paralyzed, man. And so we got to keep him out of the kitchen unless, yeah. Go girl, pretty lady. She said, I'm a little Pop-Tart. Yes, you are, lady. Things that other things that add up, how much more people are going to be, they're saying that we are to become reliant on technology. It is hilarious to me how much faith people are putting into technology and how much, like, there's going to be all these advancements. I'm like, go to Family Dollar and try to use the freaking, you know, credit card system. Now, how many times you go to a place they're like, I'm sorry, the system's slow. Or I'm sorry, the system's down. So you're going to take people's... That's going to cause some problems. And people that make minimum wage, they're not going to put up with that crap. They already aren't, man. I had a guy here in Taos freaking behind the counter because I dropped my dollar. And I'm frustrated because I get these neurological things, you know, and I get mad at the stupid fucking military bullshit, you know, all this stuff, right? I love it. The neighbors are home and I love watching all the critters. Usually they're earlier, but I think they had hockey tonight. But seeing all the cats run up and the dog and they're all excited and it's just, I don't know. I gotta be real calm when I come in, so it's not like, oh, hey, when I come in. So, anyway, technology. I was just reading before this started. They have OBS is the studio, is the software that I use, and I was reading the list of the updates. Now, by profession, I went to college because they said you got to go to college, and I'm autistic, and it was a nightmare for me, and I wanted a 4.0 real bad. I only got a 3.67, but I really tried, and oddly enough, the lowest grade I got in the whole time I went was critical thinking. I got a C because I couldn't produce what the teacher want. I always think of too many different ways of doing whatever they ask. Like, There's so many different perceptions. There's so many different experiences that, I mean, people think that we're having one experience, but like everybody's having a different perception. Did you ever do that in school where you had to write out how to make a peanut butter jelly sandwich and then the teacher did the steps verbatim? They didn't turn out real good, you know? Perception, people's realities, it's a trip. And then you have the powers that be that just like to create hindrance, division. They don't like to help, they only like to hinder. And whatever you can do to get people to disagree is a hindrance. But they love that charge that it gets, and it feeds the whole judicial system. Conflict feeds the whole judicial system, right? You know, give people whatever they need to hang themselves, and then we'll come in and then we'll make them pay for all these systems to support us saying that we'll save you. The system is so broke. I got a call yesterday from Phoenix, Arizona, in regard to Mom and her medical care. I called the woman back. I said, is this for insurance in Arizona? Because we lived there for about 5 weeks back in 2020. We haven't lived there in over 2 years. And we were there for about 5 weeks. Yet these people are going off old lists. They're still getting paid. They get paid more now. You know, because all that you want to see where all that like COVID money, stay closed, you know, all the money, all the big business. Look around your cities, look around your communities in which you live, and look at all the big, huge cranes that are up everywhere. And that's where and then look at all of the companies that they changed their labels. They totally remarketed their whole brand. That's what they paid for. That stuff could have ended up in savings later, like now. They could have kept their prices the same instead of everything. But everything is a game. And they throw words out. And words that make people scared. And then people get scared. And when they panic, they want to do things to make them feel better. So they go out and they spend. Or they drink. Or some people get so stressed out they just beat their wives or whatever, because we're seeing that all over the place too. So I was looking in here at all the stuff that the fixes. The fixes. Now I've been in IT, and I went to college for IT back in 2000. Was it? 2003 to 2006, because I had to do 2 years of my upgrade training in the military. Because I was in age and we had so much equipment that had to focus on learning the maintenance of all the equipment that we service. Because we service like 23 different pieces of equipment, powered and non-powered, to support the aircraft that goes into other countries to kill people in places we have no business being in. But what difference does it make? Because the Chinese are floating balloons over, right? It's a free-for-all, man. It's a freaking free-for-all. Anybody can do whatever they want. Ain't nobody gonna stand up and do nothing. It ain't that world anymore. So some of the things that they fixed on this, and then they put like the person that complained about it, I guess, they put their handle next to it. See, because it's open source software, so it's just free software. Everybody contributes. So it looks like not rich with the 1. Fixed a crash when using the virtual camera as an OBS source and charging the canvas resolution. Fixed a bug on Mac OS where the properties window would go behind the main window after opening a file selection dialog. You gonna be okay? GX Alpha, you gonna be alright? Oh my god, it cracks me up, man. And it goes on and on. I mean, there's all these. So these are all these hot fixes. I mean, there's like fucking 20 of them at least. It's just interesting to me. But people are going to be more reliant on technology, man. I'm going to barter, man. They could do whatever as long as I can pay my bills so moms can comfortable. That's the thing. I'm just hanging on. I'm just hanging on as long as mom is on this green earth, and just trying to make her as comfortable as possible. And in the interim, trying to learn how to keep my peace inside as the world around me just is in a state of freaking craziness, just nuttiness, man. And then you have the rest of the world that's just la la la, nothing's wrong, man, nothing's wrong. Hey, did you hear Robert Plant's coming to play in the concert? Dude, we live in Taos, and you got a local ticket discount. You can pay $66. All right, but for everybody else, it's like $125 or something like that. I saw Page and Plant back in I'll tell you what, it was back in Mountain View, and it was so long ago that Blind Melon opened for him, and oh boy, it was like I saw him probably about 5-6 months before I don't remember his name, lead singer Blind Melon died, killed himself, whatever. But they played with the San Jose Orchestra. They did Kashmir. That was pretty cool. I can only hang with people until I find out, they're doing the devil's dirty work, and dude is. So I got no interest in anything like that, man. I got no interest in. And when I saw that article on Twitter, it was like it was from the local news. I mean, it wasn't like Smart News or some BS, dummy news source. I just wrote, in the name of Jesus Christ, I rebuke you, Satan. But people are more about Satan in this state than they are about God. That's why I called the pastor this morning at 10 o'clock, left a message, never heard back from him, never got a call. I was just, I just want to talk about God. I thought that's what he does. And evidently, from what my landlady said, she knows him. He's all frustrated. I said, it's amazing how full we live in, like Nowheresville. Like, if you look up the town, Royal Hondo, where I live, it says that the population is like 126 or something like that. It's a little more, but it's like, I am so far out from 3D world. I am where people are probably trying to escape to. Come on out and visit, If you like it, start a community of your own, It's nice here, but housing is shit. Because there's like 40% of the houses are empty, and then you got like all the freaking greedy mofos that I'm gonna charge. I don't need to give a family an opportunity to have a roof over their head when I can rent to these rich pretentious skiers that they spray all this shit in the sky for, man. I was upset today coming home. It was the most. It looked like an Etch-a-Sketch in the sky. That's how many I'm on the phone with my Earth Angel. I'm like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'm looking around 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And I look over here. They're like 20 line just crap in the sky. See, and this is what they do. This is the pattern that I've noticed. It'll be like 45 degrees for 2 weeks out. And then they spray all that barium and aluminum, all that heavy metal mixture, in the atmosphere, and it makes cloud and haze and blocks out the sun, And then 3 days we get a resemblance of snow, a likeliness to snow. It looks more like styrofoam. I sent pictures to my Earth Angel. I'm like, you ever seen snow like this before? It's their little styrofoam little balls, and they're narcissists are a trip because they think that they're so smart that nobody knows what they're doing. And even since I lived here, I have on my when there's an article I want to keep, I just save it. I just save it in my browser, and then I can go back later for reference. And there's one in here about how they wanted to put it out in the community about doing cloud seeding. And then the community came back and said, you know, oh, no, we're not doing that. And that's the thing is they put feelers out, and then they do whatever they want. They've been doing it. They did it before they asked permission. Nothing deterred them, and they've been doing it out. And then so once, you know, from the day that it's Friday, right? So I look at the weather every day, and it's been like 40, 45 degrees. Like, I think tomorrow it's supposed to be, it might even be close to 50. Woo, t-shirt weather, whoopee. But there's a storm cast for snow Sunday night. Now, it won't snow on the valley floor. It hasn't snowed where I live. It snowed more where I moved from than it did here this year. And on the mountaintop, tourists are happy. It's still annoying every weekend from the annoying tourists and all the freaking annoyous, pretentious D-bags. And you know what they drive? Mercedes. Those Mercedes vans. Something's going on with my throat chakra right now. Excuse me for a moment. I put creamer in my coffee this morning, and it makes me mucusy. The lady at the store said that she was glad that she got this, that it's selling well. And I said, well, I'm happy, and I'm glad you're happy, because I'm happy. Because now all I got to do is walk up to get my cherry Sprite. Because these are the only... Every now and again, I'll get a root beer. But, like, I'll get one of these. I opened it 3 days ago. So I just take little sips at a time. So more stuff that ain't adding up. I don't know what exactly this world is. I haven't really quite figured it out. And I just might not during my incarnation. I always understood. I heard this a long time ago. I've been looking for answers for questions that I've had. And I've had questions longer than I could articulate the words to ask the questions. I'm one of those curious people. And I'm also one of those people that says, nuh-uh, that ain't true. You know? And a lot of years, I just cut it. I just would just bite my tongue. I would literally bite my... I got a line in my tongue. That line is literally from biting my tongue. If people think I'm crass and things, you know, blunt, curt, whatever they I don't know, people have told me I've used a lot of less descriptive words to describe me to me. There's just but it's something about those anthrax shots, those 8 anthrax shots they gave me. It's like it's giving me the inability to control what my body does. Like, as far as an energetic thing. See, everybody's talking about frequency and things like that. I know a lot about frequency. I've been talking, my brother makes fun of me. You always, talk about living from your heart and all this frequency, and you always talked about that ever since you were little. I was little in the 70s. And I try stuff in life, and then what I try is verified. And then I go around people, and I listen to astrology, and I hear about how the potentials of the energy is going to be, and and I have exchanges with people, and oftentimes they freaking screw me over. One time, I let people screw me over one time, and I let it go, and I bless and release. And the earlier it happens in our social arrangement of knowing each other, then that's fine, because once I know what someone is I know that everybody is capable of doing anything and everything. We have free will and people have restraint. I just haven't seen a whole lot of it I just have had a whole lot of it in my life. I've had the restraint. I have been the restraint. So I know it exists. I'm just you know how they say match calamity with calamity? I'm trying to find my same frequency tribe, just like everybody else is. I have been for a real long time. And I've been through a part, like we used to go to those church services, or those religious services. They weren't even church. There's like Church of Religious Science. They had them at like the Holiday Inn on Bocelli Lane in Reading. Remember those? Isn't that where you met Howard and Ruth and stuff like that? One of those? Yeah? And Ruth, she taught me how to read tea leaves when I was like 9 years old. And I've been reading tea leaves everywhere. Like I get signs and knowings and tips and inclinations and nudges and Easter eggs, and everybody does. I just am very aware of it. If everyone's talking about frequency, you want to talk high vibrational. It's like when your system, pretend you are an old record player, or I guess they have it. I prefer the record player one analogy, but you could do it in YouTube with the settings where they slow down and they speed up. Well, on the old record players, they do that. They'd have vinyl would have different speeds, right? So turning up that's high frequency, right? The more it's like I'm trying to picture it like a slider switch, a dimmer switch, right? The more you slide that up, the more it closes the contact and allows the electricity to flow through. So when it's wide open, that is the highest frequency. You're getting the highest light in. Light is data, information. Water, data, information transference. People, I was thinking about that today. I'm like, people don't shower. They don't take off their energy. You got teenagers and stuff. They're just not hygienic. You got people living their best van life for what they're not. They're not taking care of themselves and the best they could. There's a lot of people do, but there's a lot of people that just never learn how to just take care of themselves. And so and then they don't change their clothes. You're sitting in your same energy. If that energy doesn't shift, nothing is going to shift. These are just like, and I hate doing laundry, man. I'll go like 3 days with wearing the same pants. And just change my t-shirts, Because kind of thing. But people do too much, and there's no way that people need to be eating as much as they've. I always thought that food pyramid was really weird. Look at the old food pyramid and see when I was growing up, like the expectation of what they wanted you to eat. It was ridiculous. All these servings, like, dude, I could never do that. But see, what these guys did is they wanted to give this, because they ate like pigs, right? These guys, these CEOs and these presidents, and there's these heads of like the FDA and the USDA, and they're like, we're men, and they live in Texas and they eat their steaks, and I don't mind a good steak every now and again, high protein, good for your blood, grass fed. I prefer grass fed. And, and they eat all this, and they want to justify their behavior, so they're putting it on a can saying what everybody else needs to eat. And then people have to, like, my mom was, like, stressing out because diet was really important for me. When I was, like, it was really important that I had a proper diet because I was diagnosed hypoglycemic. Like low blood sugar, and I was one of those hyperactive kid. Wasn't I hyperactive, Ma? Yeah, drove you crazy, huh? Yeah, drove you nuts. I'd never slow down. I was like a rat in a cage. But what happened? Mom was blessed, I think, is that I discovered when I was 4 years old what a bicycle was. And I taught myself how to. My mom and my dad did not teach me how to ride a bike. I taught myself. They said, like, that my mom's boyfriend, Larry, gave me the premise. I said, yeah, I got it. See, because I've had this knowing in me my whole life that there's a point of solution. There's a point which everybody can achieve what they want to do. I'm not talking about the nasty, dirty, gross perverts that are freaking taking over this planet. It's disgusting. I'm sick of it. People need to start calling out, but they don't want to freaking, bust out their freaking uncles, dads, brothers, whatever, because they're the ones that buy them all their shit. So that everybody sold their soul, man. Everybody sold their soul. Just selling their soul because how they're acting is not what God intended. It's not what God intended, man. Just be good to people. That's all you got to do. But you got these control freaks. You know who the worst control freaks are? The grammar police. They suck. When I was a kid, I'd get so stressed out about school. Because I was one of those that you had to do everything perfect. And I tried so hard to write perfect. And it didn't matter. It does still to this day. It does not matter how hard I try with my penmanship, how slow I still write scratch. Because my brain is thinking about 2 or 3 other things. And I'm just writing down what I am. It's not a. And even if I focus, it still comes out like that. So it is weird. I saw these growing up. I saw all these people that had all these challenges, and I'd be like, man, it really sucked to be like that. And then now I'm adult, looking back, and I was like, oh my God, I was like that. I was that little retarded kid. I still am. I just never let it stop me. And now everybody's letting it stop. I listen to kids, 18 years old. Oh, I get so much anxiety, I can't go to work. Get over yourselves. Somebody can do something. Everybody needs to be self-supporting. Everybody. Mom supports me. She's my cheerleader. I said my back, my back, she always wants to rub my back. Yeah, I'll give you a back. Oh, no, Mom, I'm okay. Because I really should probably actually see if that lady, when I went to go see her, she was like, I think I might stop taking men as clients. Okay. I don't play, all right. So I don't even know if she still does it, but I was good for 3 days, man. I was like, woo! I felt great, about 3 days after that. But, what else was I going to talk about? Things not adding up. It's weird what people are letting people get away with. It just trips me out. I went into town today. It was kind of an uneventful trip. It didn't feel really good, so I didn't stay a real long time. I actually need to go in town tomorrow. I'm going to go early. I'm going to feed dogs and go in early and go to the market because it's Saturday. Hopefully nobody will get shot in the face while I'm there. Forget, I live in a weird place, man. New Mexico is so violent. And then people get all mad at you when you talk about how violent it is. All I got to do is say a comment like, what is wrong with the people in this state? Why is everybody so enamored and so bent on just causing harm to other people? And it's everybody's on drugs, everybody's on fentanyl, everybody's whacked out on something. When I was growing up, stoners did not freaking carjack people. That's what I experimented with drugs when I was younger, all kinds of drugs. I never liked to go fast. I don't really like getting on a train. I can't stop. It's not, I like expanding my mind though, so it's a double-edged sword really. And now everybody's microdosing. I don't even do that because my dog Tucker is so sensitive that he gets exceptionally squirrely, so I won't do that. I wouldn't do that. Nope. He gets too upset. So anyway, but I always just was a stoner. I was a drunk for a number of years. That just takes your soul. Just takes your spirit. It literally replaces oxygen, which is our life force, which animates us. Our electricity in conjunction, with our breathing apparatus. We're animate. That's what oxygen animates us. But then people go and replace the oxygen in their blood with straight up booze, and then they freaking wonder. And then, you get demons. You don't know if you're gonna get a good demon or a bad demon. They do weird deliberate stuff over booze. They do like weird incantations and just to drive the system. And then it ruins people. I'm grateful that all the freaking monstrosities that happened to me in life, I didn't let them ruin me. I didn't get to because I got my sense of humor. And that's my connection to source. Laughter. Creator, Because even in the sad, it's like the duality. The sad clown and the happy clown, the duality of the shadow and the light. Full spectrum, people got free choice. Where are they going to sit? In their ego or their spirit? Everybody has the choice to choose every day. I got the choice every day. Most days I choose my spirit. Oftentimes I choose my ego. And the consequences, instant. I got to keep that in check. I'm the only one that's going to keep it in check. And I've had my time where my self-will allowed me to run. I allowed my self-will to allow myself to run riot. I lost important friendships, relationships. Sometimes though, when I lose those, I kind of always just feel like they're waiting for a reason anyway. So, anyway. People have acted like they were my friend a lot in life. And I fell for it because I really wanted to believe that they were. In the reality, finding out they're talking about me behind my back and just hurtful stuff. Hey, I got a question. If AI is so freaking smart and rad and all that stuff, How come I log into my Instacrap account and under my recommended is my sister? I mean, shouldn't they know that she died in September? Or are they trying to cause harmful pain like that? I mean, invoked emotion? Because I was like, I didn't even know she had an Instacrap account until like 2 days. I was like, are you kidding me? And everybody touts like, I'm like, technology and all. Dude, if your shit works, be grateful. Do you know who's doing that? Who's driving technology? A bunch of freaking Diet Mountain Dew swilling freaking Adderall jumping freaking. I'm sure the faces have changed now. You know, they just keep inventing the wheel, though. They just keep and the human computer interface is still junk. It's still junk. Like, I was looking at Robert Phoenix's page in Bar 10, which is the ranch, the Bar 10 ranch. I got to go on a rafting trip down Grand Canyon for my 40th birthday back in, what was it, 2014? That'd be 40. And so, I got to do that. Was that when it was? Yeah, that's what it was. And what you do is you fly into Las Vegas, which is just a surreal... Sin City. The place is Sin City. How many bones are in these deserts? Because somebody look at somebody. I mean, it's just, it's so many people bring their babies in strollers. It's bizarre. Drinking, drugs, prostitute. It's Sin City. And when I went, I got pictures in my history on somewhere of just like people everywhere. It was just wall to wall people on the main strip. Because we walked over from our hotel, and I'm like, I'll check it out. And we went into one casino and had dinner at an Italian restaurant. There's Papa La Beppe or what, Beppe La Bupu or whatever it was. We eaten there before. And anyway, it was me and my dad and my brother. And then you fly, the next day you catch a little hopper plane, like, 24 people. And then you fly into, there was 2 planes. We got on the first one that left. This was my first experience with monsoons. We got on the first one that left, and then the second one, they came, and then on the third time, they're like, okay, this is it. Because they kept trying to come, but the monsoons kept passing through, so they had to go back to the airport. So the second plane, they didn't get to there till like 8:30 at night. The sun was starting to go down at like 9. Granted, it was like 106, right, when we left Las Vegas. There's just people everywhere. It was so bizarre. I just had my headphones on and just like blocked out the world, and it was a trip. Walked around, took pictures, got a bunch of cool pictures, Because my dad, ain't nobody we're not talking, we're just walking through. You can't have a conversation, and there's too many people around. And then, but when you flew into a place in a dude called the Bar 10 Ranch. And I was looking up their website today, because I remember their beef. And so I was looking at their website and their cattle. I think they got like 230 head or something like that. I don't know. So I was like looking at their prices and if they ship to Mexico and things like that. But it's like it's like the packages contain so much that I don't think I wouldn't be able to consume that much. You know what I mean? Anyway, so I was just looking around at the website and websites just don't function real good. They're not. You click on links and then they take you back to the home page, and they're loops and they're very ineffective. And I had to draw to the attention. There's so many systems that are just broken and people don't even know that they're broken. And then I come along and I come across something and I'm like, okay, this is how your system's broken. You could do with it whatever you want, call it free advice, but there's other people on this planet that get paid a lot of money for being consultants, and I'm just telling you what's wrong with your shit. You know, for free. So do with it what you want. So they were trying to schedule me for a counseling appointment with a psychiatrist or whatever he is at the VA clinic, and I like to check in every now and again just to put on paper. I know I'm fine. But you put on paper, leave a paper trail, you know. She doesn't have a history of freaking violence, you know. She's never, you know, she's fine. She doesn't want to hurt nobody. She doesn't want to hurt herself, you know, and it's documented here in paper. You know, you got to check in, let the power, you know. And the thing of it is, everybody thinks, it's so funny to me. I was thinking about that too. Anyway, I'm getting ahead of myself. So they call in the referral. There's a guy that just goes into the office right there at the VA clinic here in Taos. And he would call to set up an appointment, and as soon as he called, I would call back. He'd say, call this number and set up your appointment. And I go through all the prompts, and the number that it called, ultimately the number that it rang to would ring like 20-something times and then just hang up. And I did this 3 times, and then finally I'm like, I'm not doing this again. And then they called me in to do some labs, because they always want my blood for something. They always want to make sure so they call in labs. They want to call, they call in and for an appointment for that. And then I told the woman, I said, I tried to make this other appointment, you know. And she's like, I can do that for you right here, right now. And she did. And so when I went in for my psychiatric appointment, whatever, counseling appointment, whatever, psychiatrist, whatever he is, you call it, his appointment. And you know what's funny is that I'm a Heyoka. This happens everywhere I go. Random people just start telling me their whole life story and all their woes and stuff like that. And that's what, and most of him was telling me about how his wife died and his and all this stuff. And I was just like, this is so funny that it's, and of course I give him some guidance and, you know, so it's hilarious, man. I freaking can't make this stuff up. But I had to let him know. I said, your system is broke, and how many people didn't get the help they needed because the phone is ringing to an empty broom closet someplace or something? I mean, come on, man. People are so used to just doing next to nothing for a substantial amount of money that they don't know what it's like to do a lot for next to nothing. Just because it's the right thing to do. Supposedly, there's a great awakening happening. It's been happening. Whatever. I'll believe it when I see it. I'm there. I'll believe it when I see it. I'll believe it when I see it. I'd like it to be true. I would like people to have change in hearts and come into their generosity and their kindness. Well, all I see is more inclusion with paid membership required. That's what I see. In a time that people have less and are just looking for more answers and they can't find it because you get these little tidbits. I think it's cool that Robert Phoenix, his stuff is free. I was telling my friend today, I said, you know, a lot of people, and Mike, when I talk about people, I'm including myself because I'm one of them. I'm a spiritual being having a human experience. Sometimes my humanity gets a little bigger than my britches. And I was thinking today about how, I don't like this song right now. In order for somebody, we started talking about take the good and leave the rest. Whatever you receive, whether it's from me or anybody else, take whatever good you get from it and whatever else you think I just say is nonsense and leave it. But there's always little nuggets. There's always little things in, well, it could be there's little things in there for you. Whoever the speaker is, whoever you're tuned with, whoever you come across, And sometimes when my ego gets a little bigger than it needs to be, always important, not always useful. So, what I got to remember is because, like, I'll go on, I'll listen to somebody on the tube, and I'll be like, yeah, they're cool, and I'll subscribe to them, and then they'll just start talking about stuff, and I'll start hearing stuff, and I'm like, well, I'm not in alignment with that. And I'm not in alignment with that. And I start focusing more on the stuff, how we're not in alignment, and then we fall out of alignment. And then the trick of it is who's really out of alignment? Is it me? It's always me. It's always me. I am the recipient of this experience that I'm having in this incarnation, as anybody that is receiving a message. And how we choose to spin our vibrational frequency in a positive mode or negative mode. Because oftentimes I'm speaking in matters of facts. And people are like, you're so negative. I'm like, I'm telling you about negative shit that happened in my life. It happens in a lot of people's life. Doesn't make me a negative person. It was just a negative experience. But if you listen how I responded to that experience, maybe you'll get the message in there. But people just hear, she always talks about how she was raped when she was 10 months old. Yeah, and then I went on to struggle in school, being autistic and all this stuff, and still managed, and then had struggles with my addictions with alcohol, which set me back, and then fought those demons, and still managed to go into the frickin' United States Air Force. Was a part of Operation Iraqi bullshit. Still went to college. And in a system that is not designed to support a single female in taking care of her 72-year-old mom that had a stroke when she was 38. Mom hasn't known what day it was in 15 years. Ain't nobody in any of these organizations, these county offices, nobody sitting in any of those chairs that probably get paid $3,000 a month are designed to help people like me, help people like her. Because I promised when I was 15. See, that's how funny I am about commitments and being true to your word. Is that when I was 15, I said, Mom, she's like, don't ever put me in a home. I said, Mom, you got my word. I will never put you in a home. I made true to it, especially during a time where all these people, they put their loved ones in a home and they all died. Why can't more people do that? Thank God I have a higher power that has guided me through all this. I was thinking about that today. I said, Mom and I were talking about it. I said, Mom, I said, before it was like August. It was like the middle of August. I get a message from a landlord in Oregon saying, you got to be out by the 1st of October. And essentially she wanted to move in with her boyfriend. She was selling her old house where her adult children lived. Well, her daughter moved out, but her adult son, 25 years old, never worked because, my generation didn't do their kids. A lot of them didn't do their kids a whole lot of favors by fucking babying and coddling them and fucking wiping their ass until they're 25, almost 30, 30, still doing it. The coddlers. And people just can't even think for themselves, So she didn't want to have to, when she wanted to move in with her boyfriend, but she didn't want to have to take her 25-year-old son with her, so we had to go out so he could move back into her this house. So, And I was thinking about how we ended up from Salem, Oregon. Somebody said that today. He said, "Well, would you do anything you had to do to keep your dog?" And I stepped up to him and I said, "That's how I ended up in Taos, New Mexico, from Salem, Oregon, because I couldn't find any place that would take in me, Mom." We had 5 dogs, Sass, rest in peace, and Stan Lee. And the only reason why the broad let us move in to where we did, and we found her in YouTube chats. Go back in the whole history. It's all here. I mean, it's a miracle how we got to New Mexico. Just because I have this inherent need. Cancer rising, Scorpio moon, Aries sun, to take care of my family. My brother said, put Mom in a home. You need to put Mom in a home. Everybody says, Marge, you deserve to have a life. Put Mom in a home. People from my old life and Oma, put her in. You deserve to have a. What kind of life would I have? Beating myself up all the time because I could not honor that commitment. And she came into this world as an orphan, born with 2 club feet. And her story needs to be told. So I'm here to say it for her. You know, because too many people, they don't go through stuff. They don't know. They don't know what it's like to overcome something. She didn't even walk until she was 4-year-old. Her determination was just like that. When I learned how to teach myself to ride a bike, she had to learn how to teach herself how to walk. Because she'd had 6, 7 surgeries on her feet at that time. No, at that time, probably 3 or 4 at that time. So she took her first steps in casts that went up past her knees. She deserves better. I'm going to make sure that she's just comfortable in her life. Because this world has not done her any favors. When I was born, they cut her uterus in half and took out 1 ovary. I wonder what happened to all those eggs. They probably ended up in vaccines later. Who knows? So, he said, put her in a home. I said, I abandoned her, man. That's how she started out. She started out in an orphanage down in El Paso, Texas, in 1950. They took her from her family, you know, because that's what the government does. First we got to make a system where you got to pay to take care, you know, of your loved one. Oh, but you can't pay, so we're gonna take your kid, put it in an orphanage, and they'll get all of its surgeries and stuff. And then she got adopted. You know, and now we end up back in New Mexico in a Royal Hondo. And according to Ancestry, she has a first cousin named Betty Romero, who is from Cuesta, which is 12 miles north of here, in the middle of nowhere. I do believe she moved down to Albuquerque. I mean, the miracles of our life is just... I hope other people recognize how miraculous life is and the twists and turns that it takes us. And I would not be here if it weren't for my faith in God. And I understand God to be good, orderly direction, doing the right thing, not screwing people over. I gave a guy freaking the other day $100 to give to his buddy so his buddy could buy an alternator. Because his buddy sleeps in his truck with his girlfriend and his dog. They're homeless, right? So they need the alternator to charge the battery to freaking stay warm. Shit. Dude didn't give it to him. So that's his special karma that's gonna come to him one day. You don't treat people like, you don't do people dirty. And the whole world just did not get that message. They have not got that message. So we're coming to this point. So people just started treating people and saying whatever they wanted and treat people however they wanted. And they're just scamming and just conniving and manipulating and all this, all this stuff that God didn't intend. This is not what God intended. You know, I'm thinking fruit trees on the side of the road all over the place, you know, and all these astrologers are talking about how all, you know, there's going to be another sexual, great, more fucking perverts. Great. Just great. More people that don't know how to control themselves. One of this, I tried to listen. Ooh, Rick Levine's on live right now. I got to go by. I'm just kidding. I'll listen to it, but I didn't know he was going to be live. I dig him. He's an Aries, too. He's got a lot of Aries. But there's still stuff that drives me crazy about it, you know, still living that best life. How many people is he giving, like on the street, you know? Give them $100. Or give strangers, I mean, like that stuff, the charity that people are supposed to be doing, they're not doing it. They're just getting paid to say, we care. Fucking stupid. What was I looking up? Oh, in my subscription. Night from Soul Food Coffee House. This is when he's back in the coffee house. When I first started watching him, he was in the coffee house. So however many years it's been, I wonder what cycle that's in. But this was weird. This was a series. One of the things that I subscribe to is historic films, stock footage, and archive. Because you get some weird stuff. And there's a 3-part of people talking about their experiences at Plato's Retreat, which evidently was a swingers club. You know, that song, Just a Swingin'. It's not about swinging on the porch. I didn't know that till later. But it's just, you know, there is, in discipline, even within your physical desires, there is more reward than chasing sensations. I've been running my mouth for way too long. My voice is tired. I know I have. Where's Waldo? Yeah. Hi, Kev, man. One thing I got from, how are ya? I'm just going to say hi. And then I got unexplained S. That's in New Mexico. Food bear. Thank you. That's really cool. Chat. Mom tells me a lot how grateful she is. Yeah. So I understand how energy works. People, it's like I remember when a girl I went to high school with, Lisa Cumming, and her mom babysat this little girl. And the girl would get all worked out, and they'd make her do a dance to get her yah-yahs out. Get your yah-yahs out. Whatever the yah-yah dance, you know. I still get my yah-yahs out. I dance in the kitchen. And so ever since, and it's like the whole world is getting its yah-yahs out. And then soon, you know, maybe, you know, we'll have the periodic wave of calm from people after they got their yah-yahs out, then they crash for nap time. Maybe they'll think about their behavior. Who knows? Thanks for hanging out. It's about all I got for now. Hope you have a rad day.